gonna do a tier ranking of WNBA players. I'm gonna try. Then you got Angel Reese. I put her right at that C level.
Uh-oh, Candace Parker. You've upset the Reese's Pieces and they're not happy about it. They're gonna be coming after you any second. Oh, they're already coming after you. Oh, snap.
Candace Parker just said what nobody else dared to. And now the internet's on fire. She looked straight at the camera, named names, and ranked Angel Reese a C-tier player. Not B, not AC. Fans exploded. Accusations flew. The Reese's Pieces army rushed in to defend their queen. But Candace didn't flinch. In fact, she doubled down. Because once you actually look at the numbers and watch the games without the hype goggles on, you realize something uncomfortable. Those double-doubles everyone keeps screaming about, they don't actually help her team win. And what happens next completely flips the script on everything you thought you knew about Angel Reese. Let's get into it. When Candace Parker speaks, the basketball world listens. Two-time MVP.
I think in terms of being above, you have to be able to have the ability to carry a team, be a 1 or 2 option. I think Angel Reese is fantastic at her role, which is offensive rebounding. She showed and demonstrated so much growth in that first year. I think that this is my tier.
7-time All-Star. Championship winner. So when she sat down and ranked Angel Reese in the C tier, jaws dropped. No sugarcoating. No soft landing. Just straight basketball talk. Parker didn't place Reese next to stars like Aya Wilson or even rising players like Caitlin Clark. She slotted her below all of them, in the same tier as injured rookies and role players still trying to find their place. Her reasoning? Simple. To be ranked higher, you need to carry a team. You need to be a first or second option. A player who changes the game, not just shows up in the stat sheet. And in Candace's eyes, Reese isn't there. Not even close. Yes, Reese can rebound. Yes, she brings energy. But when it comes to actually leading a team to wins, Parker made it clear. Angel Reese is not that player. The reaction was instant and brutal.
Angel Wilson, reigning MVP, couple Defensive Player of the Years, 2 championships.
Reese's fan base lit up social media like a 5-alarm fire. Disrespectful. Hater. Jealous. Candace Parker became public enemy #1 overnight. They couldn't believe it. They're double-double Barbie, getting ranked below players they barely knew? No way. But while the internet was losing its mind, Candace Parker stayed cool. She didn't walk it back. She didn't apologize. In fact, when asked about it on a podcast, she said, "There's no hate on Angel Reese. I love her. I will never attack anybody's character. Ever." She made one thing clear. This wasn't personal. It was basketball. Not a shot at Reese's personality, style, or confidence. Just a Hall of Famer calling it like she sees it. And what she sees is a player who hasn't proven she can lead a team, no matter how many rebounds she grabs.
This is where it gets tricky. Caitlin Clark is at an A level.
But here's where things start getting uncomfortable. On paper, Angel Reese looks like a star. Double-doubles almost every night. Highlight plays. Hustle. But here's the question nobody wants to ask. If she's playing so well, why does her team keep losing? The Chicago Sky aren't just underperforming, they're collapsing. And when you break down the numbers, a pattern emerges. The more Reese plays, the worse the Sky perform. In games where she logs under 30 minutes, the Sky's win rate jumps significantly. But when she's out there for 35-plus minutes grabbing rebounds and stacking stats, the losses pile up. It's not just coincidence, it's correlation. Rebounds might look good in the box score, but they don't mean much if you're missing your own shots just to grab them back. And when those possessions end in turnovers or empty trips, it's not impact, it's inflation. Candace Parker saw through it. So did other analysts.
How many times have I said Angel Reese is not an impact player? I mean, she definitely has an impact on losing, but Angel Reese has absolutely no effect on winning.
And everything came to a head in one game that changed the entire conversation. It was supposed to be just another regular season game. Instead, it turned into Angel Reese's worst nightmare. Against the Minnesota Lynx, Reese didn't just have a bad night, she imploded. 9 turnovers. Minus, 19 plus minus. And none of it was fluke. The Lynx had a game plan. Forced the ball into Reese's hands and let the chaos unfold. She tried no-look passes into triple coverage. Traveled. Dribbled off her foot. Missed point-blank layups. Then grabbed her own rebound just to miss again. It was the kind of performance that makes coaches bury their head in a clipboard. And what made it worse? These weren't aggressive mistakes from taking over the game. They were basic errors. High school level slip-ups that elite defenders didn't even have to force. Reese was unraveling all by herself.
Oh snap, Candace Parker asked to put certain players in a tier list. You have the S tier, you have the A tier, you have the B tier, and you have the C tier. And where Candace Parker put Angel Reese on this list and her explanation about it, it has upset a large number of the Reese's Pieces delegation.
That one game became the blueprint. Opposing teams started targeting her, trapping her, pressuring her to make decisions, knowing she'd crack. And just like that, the double-double queen label started to lose its shine. Because when your best stat is rebounds, and your worst is giving the ball away, you're not helping. You're hurting. And this wasn't a one-time thing. It exposed something deeper that had been hiding in plain sight. The numbers look shiny at first glance. Double-doubles, rebounds, energy. But dig a little deeper, and something starts to stink. A lot of those rebounds, they're coming off her own missed shots. And those highlight putbacks, often after 3 or 4 chances in a single possession, inflating the numbers, but killing the team's rhythm. Then there's the turnovers.
Chicago Sky, y'all stink, bro. Y'all, look, there's trash and then there's trash. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, the Chicago Sky got destroyed.
Not just in that one meltdown game. This has been a season-long trend. Sloppy passes, poor footwork, hesitation under pressure. These aren't things that show up on ESPN graphics, but they're the difference between winning and getting blown out by 20. Coaches started noticing it. They ran plays designed to trap Reese and force decision-making, and it worked, again and again. Even worse, the Sky's coaching staff didn't adjust. They kept feeding her minutes, chasing the next double-double while ignoring the bigger issue. She was sabotaging possessions. Analysts began asking the uncomfortable question. If your star player is hurting the team more than helping, is she really a star at all? And that's when the illusion started to fall apart. Angel Reese isn't just a player, she's a brand. Bayou Barbie. Me Bound Barbie. Double-double Barbie. She's everywhere, commercials, interviews, fashion shoots. And credit where it's due. Her PR team is elite. They've turned a solid rebounder into a full-blown superstar. But here's the uncomfortable truth.
She's not someone you can rely on to carry a team to a championship. The Chicago Bravado, they cannot rely on Angel Reese to secure off-season access to the Golden Toilet. Hell, she can't even get them to the playoffs. Angel Reese does not help your team win. And this is no longer just my opinion. Candace Parker feels the same way.
Marketing doesn't win games. Basketball does. And the moment you look past the photo shoots and slogans, you start to see the cracks. When Reese plays fewer minutes, her team performs better. The ball moves more. Turnovers drop. Other players step up. Chicago looks like an actual team. But when the offense revolves around Reese, it breaks down. Possessions stall. Spacing disappears. And the Sky fall apart again. Candace Parker didn't say any of this out of spite. She just saw through the illusion. She saw a role player dressed up like a franchise cornerstone. And she said what others were too afraid to. She's great at rebounding, but that's not enough. And now, the numbers are starting to back her up. Let's be clear. Candace Parker didn't hate on Angel Reese. She diagnosed the problem. And she did it from a place few people can speak from.
Angel Reese had 9 turnovers. Yo, listen, y'all gotta stop with this point forward foolishness, man. Let's take a look, man. Hold on, man. Y'all be wildin', son.
Experience at the highest level. We're talking about a 2-time MVP who carried teams. not rode the bench waiting for offensive rebounds. When Parker ranked Angel Reese in the C tier, she didn't just throw out a hot take. She explained her logic, calmly and clearly. You want to be an A or S tier. You have to carry your squad. You have to be a first option. Someone defenses fear, not someone they target. She praised Reese's rebounding, acknowledged her growth, but then drew a hard line. You're a role player, and there's nothing wrong with that, unless you're being marketed as something you're not. Meanwhile, Parker had Aya Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and Nafisa Collier in the top tier, players who dominate both ends of the court and lead their teams to championships. Even Caitlin Clark, who's just a rookie, landed in A tier because of one thing. She makes everyone around her better. Reese, great hustle, great motor, but her presence doesn't elevate a team.
Through nearly 2 seasons in the WNBA, the only thing Angel Reese has proven is she can't win games. Angel Reese is not an impact player.
It distracts it. That's not hate. That's basketball IQ. And Parker just said what GMs, coaches, and analysts have quietly known for months. The WNBA didn't just market Angel Reese as a player. They made her a storyline. They needed a rivalry. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. Stats versus swagger. Hype versus hardware. But here's the problem. Only one of them is actually elevating the game. Clark transformed the Indiana Fever from a struggling franchise into must-see TV. Her court vision, spacing, and leadership made everyone around her better, even vets with more experience. Reese, on the other hand, brought noise. Headlines, attention, but not wins. And fans are starting to notice. Candace Parker wasn't just ranking players. She was revealing a fault line in the league itself. Do you build around substance or spectacle? Around players who win or players who trend? One path leads to long-term growth. The other? Empty seats when the hype fades. Reese may have the nicknames and nil deals, but when the playoffs come, and it's time to cut down nets, the league's future belongs to players who deliver results, not just headlines. For months, Angel Reese's double-doubles were treated like gold. But now, people are finally asking the right question. Do those numbers actually mean anything? Candace Parker didn't drag Reese. She just pulled the curtain back. She exposed the uncomfortable truth. You can't rebound your way to superstardom if you're turning the ball over and losing games. The Reese experiment showed what happens when hype runs faster than skill development. She's not Alyssa Thomas. She's not Aya Wilson. She's a role player, disguised as a franchise cornerstone. And for the first time, fans, coaches, and analysts are saying it out loud. That's what Candace Parker did. She told the truth when nobody else would. And now that the truth is out, the myth is shattered. If you agree with Candace Parker, comment below. Baby Giraffe. And if you're tired of empty stats being sold as greatness, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Because this is just the beginning. Angel Reese made headlines with her record-breaking double-double streaks, 2 separate runs of 10-plus games with double-digit points and rebounds. On the surface, that sounds historic, groundbreaking, maybe even legendary. But let's talk about what's actually happening. Many of those double-doubles came in games where the Chicago Sky were getting blown out, and not by 5 or 6 points. We're talking 20, 30, even 40-point losses. Reese was often left in the game deep into the fourth quarter, long after the outcome was decided, just to hit that 10th point or 10th rebound. In any other context, that's stat padding. Plain and simple. Sure, she got the numbers. But what did they mean? The team was already finished. Her stats didn't close the gap or change the outcome. And coaches around the league noticed. Opposing teams actually started letting her grab those boards late in the game because they knew it wouldn't matter. They wanted her to chase stats instead of making plays that helped her team win. Candace Parker saw this for what it was. She didn't ignore the streak. She just recognized that it was hollow. Because in professional basketball, production that doesn't lead to wins isn't valuable, it's misleading. While Angel Reese is grabbing headlines for double-doubles, other WNBA players are busy grabbing championships. Aya Wilson is putting together one of the most dominant two-way careers in league history. She scores, defends, leads, and delivers when it counts, with MVP trophies to prove it. Breanna Stewart? Versatility, IQ, consistency. She's won championships, finals MVPs, and international titles, all while doing the little things that make good teams great. Even younger players like Caitlin Clark are showing what leadership looks like. In her rookie year, she transformed the Indiana Fever's offense, energized her teammates, and increased the entire team's visibility, all while facing historic defensive pressure. You don't hear these players calling themselves Barbie or launching branding campaigns. Why? Because they don't have to. Their game speaks louder than any marketing ever could. Meanwhile, Reese is still struggling to find her rhythm, trying to assert herself as a star while delivering inconsistent results. That's what Candace Parker was highlighting. Not to tear Reese down, but to show fans the difference between someone who sells tickets and someone who wins banners. When a young player struggles, the natural instinct is to blame them. But sometimes you have to look higher, at the system that's supposed to develop them. In Angel Reese's case, Chicago's coaching staff bears a huge part of the blame. After brutal performances filled with turnovers, missed assignments, and breakdowns in judgment, what did the staff do? They doubled down on the hype. Post-game interviews often sounded like PR campaigns, not honest assessments. Reese was praised, protected, and kept on the floor even when her play was hurting the team. That's not coaching. That's brand management. And it raises serious questions about the organization's priorities. Were they trying to win basketball games? Or just protect their marketable star? Because real coaching doesn't shy away from uncomfortable truths. It addresses weaknesses head-on and demands accountability. Instead, Reese was given room to make the same mistakes over and over without real consequences, and the sky kept losing. Parker's comments didn't just challenge Reese. They quietly exposed the entire culture around her. One that's afraid to say what everyone can already see. Something's not working. When Angel Reese entered the league, she was everywhere. National interviews, TV spots, magazine features. She was presented as the next big thing. The league's future. A cultural icon. But something changed. Fans started watching the games, not just the highlights. They saw the missed layups, the sloppy passes, the body language when things got tough. And slowly, the tone began to shift. Social media started filling up with clips, not of dominant plays, but of frustrating turnovers. Stats still came in, but the context became impossible to ignore. And when Candace Parker finally said what people were thinking, that Reese wasn't playing like a top-tier star. It was like the floodgates opened. Fans didn't attack her. They agreed, because for months, they'd been seeing the disconnect. Parker gave fans a voice. She validated what the numbers, and the eye test, had already shown. That maybe the narrative around Reese was built on perception, not production.